In the months after the Clone Wars were sparked at the first Battle of Geonosis, many planets from the Republic soon became sympathetic to the separatist cause and believed that they were justified in wanting to split off from the Republic because of their horrible corruption and lack of care for any planets outside of the core. This deeply worried the Jedi Council, and their concerns soon became even greater as there were rumours circling on Kashyyyk that a faction of the native Wookiees on the planet wanted to leave the Republic and join the separatists. In response to this, the Jedi Council dispatched Obi-Wan Kenobi and Master Yoda to the jungle world to oversee a meeting between the different Wookiee factions, which would decide the fate of the planet and if they would join the separatists. While overseeing the meeting, things went south very quickly and Obi-Wan lost control of the situation, almost letting it spiral into a Wookiee civil war. So how did Obi-Wan get into this situation and almost start a civil war between the Wookiees? Let's find out. Before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed with the bell button on for more awesome Star Wars lore content. So the story begins in the treetop cities of Kashyyyk, home to many Wookiees with a huge range of opinions on the war. Some of them absolutely despise the separatists and some absolutely adore them. The Jedi Council has sent Master Yoda to deal with the politics of the meeting, while Obi-Wan has been placed in charge of security to make sure nobody gets assassinated while debating the controversial and highly contested issue of whether or not to continue Kashyyyk's alliance with the Republic. Obi-Wan tells Master Yoda that he is very proud to have been appointed to this assignment by the Council and hopes that Master Yoda doesn't have too much trouble negotiating with the locals. As the meeting is about to begin, each of the Wookiees who are attending line up, ready to be put through a scanner just to make sure none of them are smuggling in a bowcaster or blasters that could be used to kill their political opponents. While this is happening, Master Yoda tells Obi-Wan that he is deeply concerned by the rumours of the Wookiees realigning themselves with the separatists and hopes that they can keep the meeting under control without too many Seppi voices speaking up and making the case to cut Kashyyyk off from the Republic. Before they can go any further into the discussion, however, a blaring alarm rings out through the tree line, shocking Obi-Wan and Master Yoda, leaving them wondering what could possibly be going on near the conference room. As the two Jedi turn around, they see the Wookiee security officer roaring and groaning in his native language, warning Obi-Wan that a weapon has been detected on one of the Wookiees trying to enter the convention center. This is of course very alarming to Obi-Wan, and he knows that the holoscanner doesn't lie, so he ignites his lightsaber in an instant and orders the Wookiee inside of the scanner to slowly step out and keep his hands above his head. Master Yoda then warns Obi-Wan to keep calm, telling him that his vigilance is commendable, but he should loosen up because the Wookiee inside of the scanner is none other than Chewbacca himself, someone Yoda considers a very loyal ally to the Republic. After realizing that the whole situation is just a massive misunderstanding, both Chewbacca and Master Yoda burst out into laughter, with the Jedi Grand Master noticing that the problem was a small toy that got caught in Chewie's fur, before suggesting, perhaps belonging to a youngling? After clearing the misunderstanding up, Master Yoda tosses the small toy back to Obi-Wan, telling him to carry on with his security work, before gleefully walking off with Chewbacca and laughing about the whole situation. Following this, Obi-Wan is called over to the Wookiee security officer's desk, where he calls out in his native language that a local military leader named General Adaman is about to enter the security scanner. Obi-Wan then tells the security officer and the general that there is no need for such a decorated hero of the Wookiee people to go through security, before directing him to step right into the conference room. The general, however, is not one to be above any of the other Wookiees and refuses the special treatment. Obi-Wan of course accepts this and waves General Adaman right into the scanner before shutting the wooden door behind him. Once inside, the security officer gives the general the all clear and Obi-Wan annoyedly says, of course he's clean. The Wookiee general then thanks Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan returns the favour, thanking him for his service. At this point, tensions between the two Wookiee factions are so high that even the slightest mistake or insult from either side is likely to spark a civil war and mass fighting amongst the Wookiees. Following this, the conference is only a few minutes away from beginning, and Obi-Wan, as the head of security for the whole event, radios over to the security officer to activate the ray shields. The ray shields are put in place so that the Wookiees can speak freely, again without fear of being assassinated on the spot for having controversial views on their alliance with the Republic. After the shield is fully activated and powered, Obi-Wan ignites his lightsaber once more to demonstrate that the ray shield will actually serve its intended purpose. He plunges his blue saber right into the ray shield, and just as he expects, the field disperses the energy blade of a lightsaber, telling the Wookiees that if it can stop a lightsaber blade, it will have no trouble with blaster bolts. After this is in place, Obi-Wan finally gives the all clear to begin the meeting, telling everyone that their safety is now assured. We'll see how that goes. The first Wookiee speaker of the night stands up and begins reading his speech, before suddenly, Master Yoda and Obi-Wan sense a horrific disturbance in the Force, troubling them greatly. Following that, General Adaman, the renowned war hero of Kashyyyk and the one that spoke to Obi-Wan earlier, manages to slip away from the conference and into the tall tree lines of Kashyyyk, where he watches from a distance. The prestigious Wookiee then begins to prime his weapon with explosive charges, knowing that the ray shield won't be able to stop those effectively. He also knows that his actions will very likely lead to a massive conflict and war, but is so steadfast in his belief that nothing is going to change his mind. Before the Wookiee even aims his weapon at the conference, however, he opens up a hollow globe where he looks at his family who were each killed in the war, either fighting for the Republic or providing services for them. This sends the Wookiee into a deep rage and tremendous anger, leading him to roar out into the dense jungles of Kashyyyk. Immediately after this, he channels his anger and rage into his weapon, sending a stream of frag shells right at the conference, sending everyone there into a panic and causing pretty severe damage. After seeing this go down, Obi-Wan immediately leaps into action with his lightsaber and knows that the ray shield won't be stopping these explosive charges, so he has to go straight to the source and eliminate it as quickly as possible to save lives. Because of this, Obi-Wan leaps through the trees using the Force, eventually confronting General Adaman and knocking him to the ground with sheer force. Before Obi-Wan can even hold him down, however, the General throws more blast charges towards the conference, causing even more damage to the area and striking fear into the hearts of the Wookiees. Obi-Wan in response picks up the Wookiee's weapon and attempts to shoot the blast devices out of the air using it, but unfortunately doesn't manage to hit the target, erupting the entire area into a fierce conflict. A conflict that could easily boil over into a civil war. I don't even think Obi-Wan realizes just how close he was to sparking a civil war here. If he had just killed the wrong Wookiee or injured someone important to either side, that could easily have been misunderstood and taken as an act of war. If Obi-Wan was to hit the wrong Wookiee, the fighting would erupt on the spot and plunge the entire planet into a large-scale war. Moments later, the Wookiee grabs Obi-Wan by the neck and thrashes him around before attempting to rip his limbs off, but the Jedi Master is far too quick and far too agile, leaping through the air and eventually kicking the General in the face, leaving him unconscious with no way to escape. Obi-Wan uses the momentary pause in the action to holocuff the Wookiee General and prevent him from putting any more lives in danger for the near future. And to end the story, Master Yoda is very sympathetic for the young Wookiee General as he lost his entire family in the war. He was deeply enraged at the Republic for their losses, and this great tragedy led him to take his anger out on pro-Republic politicians and advocates, sadly resulting in him firing upon them. Finally, General Adaman is marched away from the area to the nearest Wookiee prison, while Obi-Wan shares some wise words with Chewbacca and Master Yoda. As you can imagine, the prisons on Kashyyyk are some of the harshest in the galaxy, so General Adaman is not going to be treated well there. We'll have to see how long he lasts, and I don't think the Republic are going to have any sympathy for him, despite the horrible circumstances and the absolute tragedy that happened to his family. Obi-Wan then tells Chewie and Master Yoda that they can all learn a valuable lesson from this tragic day, and that is that it is not only Jedi who can be tempted by the dark side, but any soul that the Force touches, which is pretty much every living being in the galaxy, with a few very minor and unique exceptions. So that was how Obi-Wan almost sparked a civil war on Kashyyyk. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.